next presentation links to what Avadi said before about accidents, and has to do with trust in brands. Aras, 𝐓𝐵𝐻𝐿, 𝐁𝐫𝐚𝐧𝐝, and Mary will tell us about brands that grow out of trust-based relationships, the promise of quality and dependability. The presenters of this topic will speak about the well-known case of Jaclyn Hill Lipstick that launched flawed cosmetics and then made an effort to rebuild the lost trust. Aras, 𝐓𝐵𝐻𝐿, 𝐁𝐫𝐚𝐧𝐝, and Mary, the floor is yours.
So, hello everyone. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
So we're gonna talk about trust in brands. Next slide, please. This is our team, 𝐁𝐫𝐚𝐧𝐝, Mary, 𝐓𝐵𝐻𝐿, and I. So arguably, we can say that trust is very important in brands and companies, if not the most important place where trust can get hold. However, it is very fragile. The trust between the audience and the company not only should exist, however, it should last. And sometimes that's not the case. And we took Jaclyn Hill's case as an example. I will give you a little summary and then we'll continue to talk about it. So in May 2019, Jaclyn Hill, who is a YouTuber, a famous YouTuber with more than 5 million subscribers and fan base, launched her own brand called Jaclyn Cosmetics. Her first launch were lipsticks, and after her lipsticks were launched and everyone bought her lipsticks, fans and customers noticed that her lipsticks were damaged. They found unblended pigments and small peach fuzz white hairs in the lipsticks. And after 2 weeks, and after many complaints, Jaclyn uploaded a video saying, "I'm sorry, this was the lab's mistakes, not my mistake." So the next slide, please. These are some examples. As we can see, the white fuzz on the lipsticks, the small circle is the unblended pigment, and the video above is just another YouTuber complaining about the lipsticks. Next slide. Now we're gonna see a couple of seconds of the apology video. This is an apology video. The sound.
We cannot hear the sound.
We can't hear it.
Sorry, I'm on. That's why.
When you share the screen,
different labs several years ago, I went into mass production, ended up having an issue while in mass production, and then didn't launch my brand and had to go to a whole new lab because I didn't want those issues to happen again. So I canceled them and went somewhere else. I tried to cover my tracks. I f***ed up, but they are not expired. I know you guys have seen photos of my components. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel.
So in the video, we can see she's blaming the lab and she's taking responsibility on herself by not looking exactly if the lab is good or not. However, then she also uploaded another video saying she will not be working with the same lab for her future launches. And she said that quoting, "The future is bright and we're so excited for what's to come." By this, she's trying to gain back her customers' trust, her fan base, and her reputation, basically. So now 𝐓𝐵𝐻𝐿 will continue.
So I'm going to represent some of diagnosis of trust problems a brand and a client can have. One of them is not addressing problems heads-on. So when a problem arises with a customer or a client, the first thing the company needs to do is to solve the problem. And if they do not address the problem heads-on, the trust loses between them. Another thing is not following through on promises. There is this thing business owners and companies do, where they overpromise something, and when the time comes, they don't do what they have promised. And in our case, Jaclyn has, as Arax mentioned, more than 5 million subscribers. And during that period of time, she did Instagram stories where she mentioned that she's going to launch her lipsticks and it's going to be great, but she kind of overpromised what is going to happen. But in the end, it had a negative effect because she didn't meet the consequences. And therefore, trust broke between her and between her followers. Other thing is not being open to the client's feedback. Not caring about your customers and their opinion of your company can break trust, as we know, because if, for example...
Alpine, can I briefly interrupt, because this seems to be a technical problem? Do you have the English channel interpretation activated?
Yes.
Have you chosen the English channel there?
Yes,
They're
yes.
asking for control. Okay, thank you.
Should I continue? Sorry.
Please do.
Okay, so the last thing is not being open to the client's feedback, as I mentioned, and not caring what your customers think. It can break trust between you two, because that's the first thing the business companies should do when they open their businesses, to listen to their target audience, to understand what is their target audience, and to understand what their target audience wants. What is their wants and what is their needs. So in Jaclyn Hill's case, there were two things that happened. First, as I mentioned earlier, she lost many followers, and the relationship between her and her clients, also her followers, broke trust. The second thing that happened was the relationship between her and the lab broke down, because she used a lab that she has no experience with, and this made her realize that it was not a good idea. In the end, the lab she worked with let her down, we can say, and this caused trust issues between her and the lab. So now my colleague will continue. Thank you.
Okay, so I will talk about the consequences of the trust problems. This is exactly like specifically on Jaclyn's case, but this is something that a lot of brands are going through. First of all, since we're taking Jaclyn Hill, she has an online reputation and she is a content creator. So this led her to lose her online reputation as a content creator and as a business owner, because she had this promise to an audience, to an online audience, and this was affecting her online and media reputation. The second part is that since all of this was online, she was having public backlash and negative comments, feedbacks, and reviews, which some of them she was actually deleting, and this was bringing more backlash, because people were like, you cannot cover your tracks by deleting feedbacks and comments. Everyone already knows what happened, since all of this is on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Everything was happening live, basically. And one of the third consequences she dealt with is spending more than her budget to get refunds to the customers who were not happy with their products. And this cost her more to produce more. And there was actually many customers who did not receive their refunds, and they complained that neither did they receive refunds or a new product in good conditions. So this was again hurting the trust problems that she was having with her customers, and this was not helping the solution. Fourth consequence she had to deal with is financial and legal side damage, because once you trust your brand and your products and your formulas, specifically in cosmetics, changing a lab is going to cost you a lot of money. You're going to find new people, you're going to trust new people, you're going to understand the way they're working. So just changing all of this is spending a lot of money, and it actually defines the quality of your brand. And for the fifth, the audience and the customer's interpretation were negative even after her apology. Her apology was not taken good enough. People were still doing public backlash, negative comments. This was not a big change to gain people's trust back. And this actually happens with a lot of brands who are also on social media. And I would like to show you one of the comment examples that she was getting. This was one of them. My favorite shades are crusty, mold, small holes, mysterious small hairs, and unmixed pigments. This is due to the fact that people had this high expectations, and all of those expectations were not met. And she had to deal with such hate comments that are actually still out there on the internet. And now Mary will continue on possible solutions.
Thank you. So as a group, we tried to come up with a couple of solutions and actions that brands and organizations can take when they have this crisis situation, when the trust between the audience and the brand has been lost. The first one that we came up with is being transparent. We know that bad things can happen to anyone, to any organization, to any company. Therefore, it is important that brands and organizations are honest with their audience so that it builds the trust, especially if you are dealing with a skincare company. They should always be honest about their ingredients, what side effects it might cause. The second is speaking directly to the audience, for example, going live, addressing the issue, and basically interacting with the customer. For this point, we would actually like to advise that people do this not only when a crisis happens, but on a daily basis as well, so that they can get to know their audience, their needs and wants, and that way they can establish the trust between the two parties. The third one that ties to the ones that I've talked before is being vulnerable and genuinely showing care. Doing this establishes the trust from the first steps, and especially if the trust has been broken once or twice. In case of Jaclyn Hill, this is a guarantee that it would work when you communicate with your customers and you're vulnerable and you show that they're not just a customer for you. The other one is maintaining communication and integrity on a daily basis. In case of Jaclyn Hill, we saw that she posted an apology video once, then she disappeared again. She came back and posted another one and disappeared again. This was one of the mistakes that she made, and our advice would be not to do that if you want to rebuild trust or establish trust in the first place. The other one is giving your customers an offer that they cannot refuse. In this case, it can be refunding them in terms of sending them the same product but in a better condition, or organizing a giveaway, or maybe sending them a small gift with their next purchase. We always advise that brands and organizations test their product many times. They research and contact the labs that are guaranteed, that are qualified, that would give high quality. And for the last one is not deleting any bad reviews and comments. This ties back to the couple of points that I mentioned before: being vulnerable, being honest. This way, the potential customers and the old customers can see what's going on with the brand, with the products, and what people actually think. And this way, trust can be established and regained. This was all that we've prepared for you, and thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions, we would gladly answer them.
Thank you very much. You can close this PowerPoint presentation and we can focus on questions and interaction. Anyone has a question, please start or send a written message on chat. I would like to know, in terms of the case you presented, what really surprised me, and it's hard for me to understand, that such a successful person in communication, like she has 5 million followers, as you said, how I can understand maybe her lack of experience in starting a new product in a company, a field she has no experience in, making possibly mistakes, but not communicating properly after that. That is difficult for me to understand. And do you know what possible reasons are behind that?
Yeah, in her apology video, she also said that the criticism was hard for her to accept and to communicate with her customers because it was her first launch and she didn't accept that she made a mistake. That's why there was difficulties with communication on her behalf and like apology.
That would explain it, because apparently she's an effective communicator, right?
And one problem is that these people are facing, if we look at content creators specifically trying to make money through products and through brand, what they do is that they use their online reputation to bring in new clients and customers. But in this case, when the scandal happened and when people were not happy with the products, she stayed silent for a couple of days. So this silence actually causes more chaos and allows people to talk more on social media instead of directly dealing with the problem. I think that was another major problem that she was dealing with.
What has the recuperation of trust? I mean, what are their number of followers today, and how is her business with regards to that?
Her business is doing good right now, and her YouTube channel, because she shifted her audience. It was a beauty channel, now it's a lifestyle. So she shifted her audience and brought new audience and created new makeup that were actually pretty good.
Okay.
She has grown too, actually. She has 7.3 million followers on Instagram and around like 6 million subscribers on YouTube.
On the new lifestyle?
Yeah, after her updated approach, let's say.
Is it possible on data statistically to know how many followed and how many are new? Do they have the possible to have those statistics?
Yes, we can have like do a research, like, because we think that when this scandal happened, she had 5 million, and now in 2022 she has 7 million, so it's like 2 million people. Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. Do you have any other questions? Is someone else wants to share something? Thank you all very much for a very insightful presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you too.